Alright guys, welcome back to another one of Dr. Squirrel's famous guide videos, and today you're going to learn everything there is to know about reforging. I actually hate this mechanic, but it's in the game now, so we need to understand it. As always, I break down my guide videos into several sections, so this is what we're going to discuss today. Number 1, how do you get reforged materials? Number 2, roughly how long does it take to reforge gear? Number 3, how much does reforging improve your gear? Very important topic. I'll have a table illustrating this. Number 4, what gear should you reforge? And number 5, why is reforging important at all? Let's get right into it. So topic number 1, this will be a fast one. How do you get reforging materials? Well, the first time you clear Hunt 13, I already did them so I can't show it to you, but you'll get 200 reforged mats for that hunt. So basically the first time you clear Hunt 13, you can reforge a single piece of gear for free. After that, the only way to get reforged materials, the only way, is to grind hunts over and over. Yeah, you know it, you guys have been doing it already. You should always be doing Hunt 13 because you can get a drop of 4. I believe the lesser ones drop 2 or 3. So in terms of energy efficiency, it's only 2 more energy to do Hunt 13 over Hunt 11. You always want to do Hunt 13. Now if you're a new player and you can't clear it because it's too hard, then fine, do 11 or 12, it's understandable. But as soon as you get to the power level needed to do Hunt 13, always do Hunt 13 for energy efficiency. Now it's not a 100% drop rate, it'll compete with equipment, but it does drop fairly often. Also, one thing to note as you're miserably grinding hunts is you can get lucky every once in a while, and there's an epic reforge drop where you'll get 50 of these in a single drop. So it'll kind of make the grind a little bit less onerous because every once in a while you'll get a nice 50 drop, but it still takes forever. And with that, let's segue into topic number 2. Alright, so topic number 2 is roughly how long does it take to reforge gear? Well, if you look at my screen, get used to seeing that auto hunt screen because it takes forever. I want to give a shout out to Munford from Reddit. I'll put the link in the description below, but basically he compiled some statistics for us. So in 1,000 runs, he got 1,548 reforge mats and 264 manifestation stones. That's in 1,000 runs. So if you do some basic division, you can basically calculate that it takes about 129 Wyvern 13 runs or 2,838 energy to reforge a single piece of Wyvern gear. Now, if you're unlucky enough to have good converted gear, it will take you an average of 758 runs or 16,676 energy. So, the short answer is that it takes forever. It takes a long time. So you want to be very selective about what you reforge unless you have infinite energy and you're a turbo whale or you're using macros to just do this all day. For normal people, it's going to take forever and you're going to want to be very, very selective. So with that out of the way, let's move on to topic number 3. Alright, topic number 3 is how much does reforging actually improve your gear? This is probably the most important topic. I actually had a lot of misconceptions about it, but after finally playing with it and doing some research, I finally understood it, and I tried to condense it into this ghetto-looking chart for you guys. It doesn't have flat stats, but whatever, you could probably find that online somewhere too. So let's look at this chart so we can figure out how reforging works. So my misconception in the beginning was that reforging improved your stats by a percentage so that the quality of the rolls actually mattered. In other words, I thought like a 40% chest piece would get more of a benefit than a 30% chest piece. And that's not necessarily true. Reforging is based entirely on the number of rolls that went into a substat. And by that, what I mean is that like +3, +6, whatever stat that went into, that counts as one roll. So if you look at this chart, you're going to notice on the left column it says base 1 roll to 5 rolls. 5 rolls is obviously the max for an epic piece. If it's like purple, it can only get up to 4. So base means if that stat exists on that piece of equipment but you never rolled into it, it will go up by that amount. So for most stats, it's 1 for speed. If you never rolled into it, you're going to get a 0 benefit. And if you get like 3 rolls into something, so let's say it rolled into speed 3 times, it'll go up by a total of 3. Now for speed for 4 and 5 rolls, you'll notice it's actually exactly the same. So the maximum speed bump you can get from reforging for a piece that's not boots is only 4, which actually adds up to a lot. So between 6 pieces, that's 24 plus 1 because boots are 5. So you can get a maximum of 25 extra speed from all your items if you got 4 rolls or more into each of them. So that's a pretty big bump actually, right? So I think this chart's pretty self-explanatory. Attack, health, defense, effectiveness, effect resist all have the same benefit. Speed, crit chance, crit damage are a little lower, which makes sense because the roll ranges are lower. But based on this chart, you can figure out exactly how much better your gear is going to get. Now that we understand that, let's kind of look at it in practice. So let's look at something like this. This is a purple. So if we look at the chart and compare it to this, you'll notice that if I reforge this, attack will go up by 1. That's a base roll, so we know that it never rolled into it, which makes sense because the value is so low. 11 is a little higher, and it will go up by 2 if I reforge it, which makes sense because I got 1 roll into it, and 11% kind of makes sense for something that rolled into it once. The crit chance on this helm is pretty high, and you'll notice it goes up by 4%. So that equates to 3 rolls. So this helmet rolled into crit chance 3 times. And speed doesn't go up at all because it never rolled into it, and the base roll is 0. So you'll notice that that adds up to 4 rolls. Remember, that's because this is a purple piece, which means that at plus 12 it got this new substat. So you only get 4 total rolls into a sub. Now if we look at something like an epic, this is an epic, you'll notice speed also doesn't go up because it never rolled into it. Crit damage goes up by 1 only because again, it never rolled into it. But crit chance goes up by 3, and based on the chart, that means it rolled into it twice. And health goes up by 5, which means it rolled into it 3 times. So since this is an epic piece and there's no wasted roll on creating a new substat, this does have 5 total rolls worth of benefit. So in general, or always, epic pieces get more benefit from reforging than purple pieces because there's an extra roll bonus in there because there's no roll wasted creating the new substat. So I hope that really illustrated how reforging works, how much the benefit is. It doesn't sound like that much, but it's a lot when you factor in all 6 pieces of gear. Like if we look on the chart, let's say you, for whatever reason, had 6 pieces of gear where everything rolled into health percentage 5 times. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but then it's 6 times 8%, which is what? My math is terrible nowadays. 48? 48. So 48% help from reforging is nothing to laugh at. 25 speed is nothing to laugh at. At the high end, that is the difference between winning a match or losing a match, particularly when your entire team is reforged. The benefit is huge. This is why you're starting to see like stuff on Reddit where people have like 250 speed K-Rons with ridiculous offensive stats. None of that is possible without reforging. So I hope you kind of understand how much reforging benefits your gear now. Let's move on to the next topic. Alright, so topic number 4 is what gear should you reforge? Now, the simple answer is just reforge your best gear. 9 times out of 10, that's the correct answer. But when you're first starting off, I'd say the thing you want to prioritize is boots, because boots, when you reforge them, go up by 5. If you remember the chart, the maximum speed bump you could get from any other piece is 4, and that's only if it rolled into it 4 or 5 times, which is a dream for most of us, but pretty damn uncommon. But for boots, it's just an automatic 5-speed boost, which is a pretty big speed bump for most people. So I would say focus on boots first. I think after that, in general, just put it on your best gear, your gear that rolled high. The bump will be the same. Like, actually, in terms of percentage, reforging helps bad gear better than good gear, but nonetheless, you should be upgrading your good gear. One key thing to note that we kind of talked about before is reforging benefits epics more. Like, do not reforge blues or you can reforge purples if it's really good, absolutely. But remember, those rolls that actually create new substats, they don't count for the rolls, so there's no benefit. You only get the base roll bonus from there. So for epics, you have 5 rolls worth of bonus based on that chart. For purples, you have 4 rolls worth of bonus, and everything else has less and less accordingly. So the general rule of thumb is epics will benefit more from reforging than the lower tiers of rarity. But in general, don't overthink it. Like, reforging purples is fine. Just make sure you're reforging gear that's actually good. Don't reforge garbage, because if you remember from topic number 2, getting these materials takes absolutely forever. It's a nightmare. You don't want to reforge crap and regret it later. So now let's move on. So topic number 5, our final topic today, is why is reforging important? It's because it's a huge power spike, and it doesn't look like it from the chart, right? The benefit actually seems small. But I think the easiest way to look at it is to pretend that you had 6 pieces of gear that rolled 5 times into the same sub. So imagine your fastest character with 25 more speed, or your attacker with 48% more attack, or your bruiser with 48% more health, or 36% extra crit chance, 42% extra crit damage. It is a big power spike once you get everything reforged. Now, and that's not even taking into account that I didn't really cover that the equipment also has a base improvement, like weapons go up by 25 attack, helmets give you an extra 135 HP, you get 10 more defense from armor, and for your right hand side, you get a 5% bump on the percentage main stat. So if you have like a 55 crit amulet, it'll go up by another 5%. So it's really more like 36% crit. If you also had a crit chance main neck, would really be 41% more crit. So imagine a character that you have with 60% crit only, but all the other stats are good. With reforging alone, you can get them to 100%. So reforging has a huge impact on PvP. In PvE, the content is easy and you don't really need reforged gear anyway. But once you start pushing champion and high legend, everyone has reforged gear, and if you don't have reforged gear, like I didn't at the time of this video, the difference is very apparent when you start noticing that people are the same speed as you, but somehow have like 8,000 more life. Like, things like that make a huge difference in high-end PvP, so you absolutely need to reforge. And if only if you want to be competitive, right? If you're just playing for fun, it doesn't matter. But if you want to be competitive in PvP, unfortunately, your Epic 7 career is just going to be doing hunts over and over and over and over again. But honestly, that was not that much different from how it was before. So anyways, I think that's the end of this video. I hope this kind of showed you guys how reforging works. If I didn't cover something, I apologize. Just leave any questions in the comment section below, and I'll answer you if I see it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know what you want the next guide video to be. And make sure you like and subscribe for more of my concise, squirrely guide videos. Peace out, guys.